Listen up, this one's big! The WNBA and its players are knee-deep in some of the most heated CBA talks we've seen in years, and it could change everything. I've hinted at this before, but now it's time to break it all down. Where do things really stand? What are the players demanding? And are we staring at a full-blown lockout that could wipe out the 2026 season? The Athletic dropped a bomb with their anonymous player survey, asking one question. If you could fix one thing in the new CBA, what would it be? The results? A massive 70% of players want higher salaries. Only 8% called for more roster spots. Another 8% said minimum standards. 5% pushed for better family resources. Another 5% wanted stronger pensions. And just 2% asked for revenue-sharing changes. Translation? Players are basically screaming, "Pay us more!" We've heard it over and over in interviews. Players want a revenue split closer to the NBA's. They want equity. They want fairness. Bottom line, they want a raise and the respect that comes with it. But how much are they asking for behind those closed doors? That's still a mystery, and honestly, it's probably better that way because revealing that number could turn negotiations into an all-out war. What happens next? Will the league step up, or are we about to see one of the most dramatic showdowns in WNBA history? They're keeping those salary numbers locked up tight, and for good reason. For years, people have been screaming about how the WNBA doesn't make money, how the NBA has to subsidize it, how ratings are low, on and on like a broken record. But here's the reality. Over the last 2 seasons, the WNBA has exploded like never before. Fans are tuning in, arenas are filling up, and the energy is electric. And yes, that means players deserve bigger checks. With the league finally building momentum, this is the perfect time to invest back into the players who are driving it. This isn't the same struggling league from years ago. This is a whole new era of success. And if they can keep this pace, the WNBA is about to enter territory it has never touched before. And let's not ignore what's fueling this rise. A fresh TV deal kicking in soon, bringing in more revenue, plus the major shift to chartered flights. A move that's costing money now, but finally treating players like pros. Yet despite all this, the actual numbers? Still a mystery. I've dug deep, searched everywhere, and let me tell you, it's nearly impossible to get straight answers on how much the WNBA is really pulling in versus how much they're losing. So yeah, the players have every right to demand their piece of this historic growth, but will the league deliver, or are we heading straight for a messy showdown? Nobody really knows exactly how much money the NBA is pumping into the WNBA. Those numbers are buried deep and locked away like state secrets. But here's the inside scoop I've been hearing. The league could be headed straight for a player strike, basically a full-on lockout next season. The whispers around the industry are loud right now. Big brands are already preparing for the possibility that the WNBA might not even start on time next year. Why? Because those closed-door CBA meetings at All-Star Weekend? They went terribly. 2 meetings, 2 total disasters. Players on one side, Commissioner Kathy Engelbert and the league office on the other, and no one budged an inch. That's why the players came out rocking those now iconic shirts. Pay us what you owe us. A clear message that things have reached a boiling point. And while nobody outside those rooms knows every detail, the smoke is too thick to ignore. Rumors are flying fast, and every sign points to a player strike being almost inevitable at this point. And honestly, that's scary. This is the biggest moment for the WNBA since its early glory days back in the 90s. Fans are hyped, ratings are climbing, and stars are bigger than ever. Yet all of that momentum could get crushed by a lockout. Imagine everything these players have built grinding to a halt over a battle for fair pay. It's the kind of standoff that could either change the league forever or stop it cold. You can feel the stress from every angle. Players, the WNBPA owners, even Commissioner Kathy Engelbert are all sitting in this cloud of uncertainty, wondering what the future is going to look like. And honestly, I get it. Life gets overwhelming. My own life has been a wild ride lately, from amazing moments like getting married to brutal ones like, yeah, that public firing we all saw play out. But hey, we're not diving back into that mess right now. I try to keep things positive here, which means I have to work double time on my own mental health behind the scenes. How? I stick to daily workouts, long walks, and of course, chill time with my 3 cats, Sunny, Sky, and Storm. Yes, the internet's favorite trio. The reality is, this content grind and social media hustle can swallow you whole if you're not careful. I'm naturally driven, the type who wakes up and wants to work until midnight. But let me tell you, it wrecks your headspace if you don't balance it out. So just like these players are fighting for stability in their careers, I'm out here making sure I stay mentally strong and sane too. Because without that, none of this works. These little daily routines I've built, total game changers for my mental health. And speaking of mental health, shout out to BetterHelp for sponsoring today's video. They're on a mission to make starting therapy so much easier. Imagine having someone actually listen, ask the right questions, and help you look at things from a whole new perspective. They're not just there to hear you out. They give you real techniques to create positive change in your life. All it takes is filling out a quick questionnaire, and in just a couple of days, you can be matched with a licensed therapist. Don't vibe with the one you're paired with. Switch anytime at no extra cost. With over 7,000 reviews and a 4.3-star rating on Trustpilot, you know it's a platform you can actually trust. Hit the link in the description or head to betterhelp.com/RachelDita for 10% off your first month of therapy. Mental health matters, and this is one of the easiest steps you can take. Now let's talk about something spicy. Gabby Williams went on a podcast and dropped some serious CBA negotiation tea, and she didn't stop there. She straight up said the WNBA is not feeling unrivaled at all. And listen, I've been calling this from day one. There is no way the WNBA and Unrivaled both thrive peacefully. If Unrivaled keeps winning, best believe the WNBA is going to try to shut that down real quick. And for the record, this ain't shade at Nafisa Collier or Breanna Stewart. It's just the reality of how leagues protect their turf. I've been saying this for months. There's going to come a day where the WNBA either tries to buy Unrivaled, force some kind of partnership, or flat out ban players from competing in it by locking it into contracts. Gabby Williams hit on something huge here. Because players skipped going overseas and instead played in Unrivaled during the offseason and actually got paid well for it, they showed up to WNBA training camps earlier and fresher. That's huge because playing overseas often means staying until foreign playoffs wrap, making players late to their own league's start. Gabby basically said it herself. Unrivaled saved the WNBA season by keeping more players at home and ready to hoop on time. But here's where it gets spicy. There's a serious conflict of interest at play, with Nafisa Collier and Breanna Stewart leading the WNBPA while also being the public face of Unrivaled. That's like running the players' union and the rival business at the same time. Wild. And think about this, if the WNBA locks out or players strike, Unrivaled instantly becomes the winner, scooping up talent and fan attention while the main league stalls. We already saw a taste of this power move when Nafisa walked into the WNBA All-Star Draft rocking an Unrivaled t-shirt loud and proud. That wasn't random. She knew exactly what she was doing and said the name Unrivaled over and over again like she was planting a flag in enemy territory. This isn't just a side hustle anymore. It's shaping up to be a straight-up battleground. To me, that All-Star moment screamed defiance, like Nafisa Collier was straight up telling the WNBA, "Look at what we're building over here. Every player she drafted, yep, they played in Unrivaled, and yep, they're coming back for more. And if there's a player strike or full-on lockout, guess where they'll be headed? Unrivaled, where they actually get paid." And here's the kicker. During this Unrivaled offseason, they've been stacking sponsors like crazy. This isn't just some side project anymore, it's starting to look like the blueprint for something massive. Honestly, we're witnessing uncharted territory in sports business. In 30 years, people are going to write books about this. Maybe even full-on Netflix docs breaking it all down. Think about it. Even when the NBA had lockouts, there was never another player-owned pro league standing by to scoop up talent. Sure, guys ran pickup games at LA gyms, but nothing even close to what Unrivaled is doing. And right now, Nafisa Collier and Breanna Stewart are holding the cards. They've got the leverage, and the WNBA knows it. Gabby Williams nailed it. If the WNBA tries to stretch the season and box out other opportunities without paying players more, some will straight up pack their bags and go play in Europe instead. That's how serious this power shift is. This isn't just a competition, it's shaping up to be an all-out battle for control of women's basketball. Some players are flat out saying they'd rather ball out in off-season leagues like Unrivaled or Athletes Unlimited than deal with the grind of an extended WNBA schedule. And honestly, can you blame them? Meanwhile, the WNBA just dropped a bombshell. Expansion is coming fast. New teams in Portland, Toronto, Cleveland, and Detroit, all within the next 4 years. But here's the drama. Players themselves are scratching their heads asking, Why are we expanding when we don't even have full rosters now? Some teams are scrambling so badly, they're stacking up hardship contracts just to survive. Players are saying, yo, how about you expand our rosters first before adding 4 whole franchises? Don't get it twisted. This growth is exciting, and yeah, the WNBA is booming like never before. The Golden State Valkyrie hype is real, and if these new franchises catch fire the same way, the league could explode into a whole new era. But players have a legit point. The league office and players still feel miles apart. From the players' perspective, it's like, you're making our season longer, adding more teams, and still not paying us more? Why wouldn't we play in Unrivaled, make easy money, stay in one city, and keep control of our schedules? This isn't just about money. It's about power, respect, and how the future of women's basketball is going to look. And right now, it's players versus league, and neither side is backing down. So here we are, the WNBA at its highest point in decades, yet one step away from chaos. Players want real pay, better treatment, and freedom to control their careers. The league? Focused on expansion, longer seasons, and protecting its turf. And sitting in the middle of all this is Unrivaled, the players' own league that's quickly becoming a serious threat, and maybe their safety net if a lockout hits. If the CBA talks keep tanking and a strike happens, Unrivaled could steal the spotlight, sponsors, and talent overnight, turning this into one of the biggest power shifts in women's sports history. But here's the question that no one can answer yet. Will the WNBA adapt and finally give players what they deserve? Or are we about to watch the league implode while its stars build their own empire elsewhere? Either way, the future of women's basketball is about to get very real. And when the dust settles, the entire sports world might look at 2026 as the year everything changed. Here's the wild part. Ratings didn't even matter for Unrivaled. Their viewership wasn't touching WNBA numbers, but the players still got paid. And they're looking at that like, why can't we have that security here? That's why the whispers of a lockout and players' strike feel so real right now, and honestly, I'm worried. Now, if the league and players don't get on the same page fast, the momentum we've been hyped about for 2 straight seasons could crash overnight. A canceled 2026 season? That could be devastating for the WNBA's entire future. This is bigger than just one CBA. It's about whether this league grows into the powerhouse it's supposed to be or collapses while players build their own empire elsewhere. But hey, what do you think? Should players take a stand and go all in with Unrivaled? Or should the WNBA finally give them what they're asking for before it's too late? Drop your thoughts down in the comments. Let's talk about it. Hit that like button, smash subscribe, share this video with your friends, and we'll see you on the next one.